Today we bring you a small yet remarkable piece of history, the Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that reflects the rich heritage and legacy of the United States. This seemingly simple penny holds a story that fascinates collectors and can surprise you with its hidden value. Discover the beauty and rarity of this tiny treasure, only on HD Rare Coins. Top 1. The story of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1961 begins with one of the most famous faces in American history, President Abraham Lincoln. This small copper coin may look ordinary at first glance, but to collectors and coin enthusiasts it carries a fascinating history and sometimes an astonishing value. The Lincoln penny design was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. The 1961 Lincoln penny continues this historic tradition with the classic portrait of Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears design on the reverse. For collectors who love rare coins and hidden treasures, the 1961 penny represents a beautiful piece of American numismatic history, and today we are going to explore everything about this coin that makes it interesting, collectible, and sometimes extremely valuable. The obverse of the 1961 Lincoln 1-cent penny features the legendary portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln is shown facing to the right, and above his portrait you can see the word Liberty along with the year 1961 clearly struck on the coin. The famous phrase "In God We Trust" appears along the top edge of the coin, symbolizing the historical and cultural values of the United States. On the reverse side, the design shows two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin motto E pluribus unum. Because of these wheat stalks, these coins are widely known among collectors as Lincoln Wheat Pennies, even though the design style continued until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. However, collectors often discuss early 1960s pennies together because they belong to the same copper era and share similar physical characteristics and minting standards. One of the most interesting details about the 1961 Lincoln penny is its weight, which is approximately 3.11 grams. This weight was standard for copper Lincoln cents produced during that era, and it remained consistent for many decades before the composition changed in later years. The balance and weight of the coin give it a solid feel in the hand, something collectors often appreciate when examining vintage coins. Because the coin was made primarily from copper, it also developed beautiful natural toning over time. Some coins turn deep brown, others show bright red surfaces, and some develop a stunning red-brown color. These color variations can greatly affect the coin's desirability and value in the collector market. The diameter of the 1961 Lincoln 1-cent penny is 19.05 millimeters, which has been the standard diameter for United States 1-cent coins for generations. This precise measurement allows the coin to fit perfectly into vending machines, coin holders, and coin albums designed for American pennies. The circular shape and carefully measured diameter also make it easier for collectors and grading experts to examine the coin's condition and authenticity. Even the smallest variation in diameter or edge can sometimes indicate an error coin or a minting anomaly, which makes certain examples even more valuable and exciting for serious collectors. Another technical specification that collectors pay attention to is the thickness of the coin. The 1961 Lincoln penny has a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. While this may seem like a small detail, coin thickness plays an important role in the minting process. If a coin is slightly thinner or thicker than standard, it might indicate a striking error or a planchet variation. Error coins are highly desirable in the numismatic world, and sometimes these unusual pieces can sell for extraordinary prices at auctions and private collector sales. That is why many collectors carefully inspect every detail of a coin, even the thickness, before determining its potential rarity and value. The composition of the 1961 Lincoln 1-cent penny is another fascinating aspect. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper-rich composition gives the coin its classic reddish color when freshly minted. Over the decades, exposure to air and environmental conditions causes the copper surface to tone naturally. Some coins maintain their bright red color if they are preserved in protective holders, while others develop darker brown shades. In the coin collecting community, pennies with original red surfaces are often considered more desirable and valuable than those that have darkened with age. Mint marks are also very important when discussing the 1961 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at two major facilities. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint do not carry a mint mark, while coins produced at the Denver Mint feature a small letter D below the date. Each mint produced millions of coins, but certain mint state examples with exceptional quality and sharp details can still be quite rare. Collectors often compare coins from different mints to see which ones have stronger strikes, better luster, or fewer surface marks. These factors can dramatically influence a coin's final market value. Another interesting detail about the 1961 Lincoln penny is the edge design. Like most United States 1-cent coins, it has a plain smooth edge rather than a reeded or ridged edge. This smooth edge makes the coin simple yet elegant in appearance. Despite its simplicity, collectors often inspect the edge carefully because sometimes minting errors can appear along the rim. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual edge distortions can turn an ordinary penny into a rare and valuable collectible piece that attracts attention from serious numismatists. When discussing rare coins, condition plays a huge role in determining value. A circulated 1961 Lincoln penny that has been used in everyday transactions for decades may only be worth a small amount above face value. However, a coin that has been preserved in mint condition with brilliant red surfaces, sharp details, and no visible wear can be significantly more valuable. Professional grading services carefully evaluate factors such as luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal before assigning a grade. The higher the grade, the more desirable the coin becomes among collectors. Over the years, some exceptional examples of the 1961 Lincoln 1-cent penny have appeared in auctions and private collections. These coins are often perfectly preserved mint state pieces that were stored carefully for decades without entering circulation. When collectors discover such high-quality examples, the excitement in the numismatic community grows quickly. Rare coins often tell stories of history, craftsmanship, and chance discovery. A coin that once traveled through everyday pockets and cash registers can eventually become a treasured collectible worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the next time you come across an old Lincoln penny from 1961, take a closer look before spending it. Check the condition, observe the mint mark, and notice the color and shine of the copper surface. Sometimes the smallest coin can hide an incredible treasure waiting to be discovered. And who knows, that tiny 1-cent coin resting quietly in a jar or drawer might actually be worth an unbelievable amount. In the rarest and most exceptional condition, the value of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1961 can reach an astonishing price of $245,000. Top 2. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1964 is one of those small coins that may look ordinary at first glance but carries a remarkable story behind it. For coin collectors and history lovers, the Lincoln penny represents more than just a piece of pocket change. It represents more than a century of American heritage and craftsmanship. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first regular circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. By the year 1964, this iconic penny had already become one of the most recognized coins in the world. Even today, collectors carefully examine these coins because certain examples in exceptional condition can be extremely rare and valuable. The design of the 1964 Lincoln penny is simple yet powerful. On the front of the coin appears the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln is shown facing to the right with the word Liberty placed beside him and the date 1964 clearly visible. Above his portrait you can read the national motto "In God We Trust." This design has remained one of the most recognizable coin portraits ever created. On the reverse side of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial design is displayed, which was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. At the center of the reverse you can see the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., along with the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. If you look very closely, you can even see the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail that many people never notice. when it comes to technical specifications. The 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny follows the traditional standards used by the United States Mint during that era. The coin has a weight of approximately 3.11 grams. This weight gives the coin a solid and authentic feel, especially because the penny was made primarily of copper during this time. Copper coins from this period are especially loved by collectors because of their rich metallic color and the beautiful way they age over time. Some coins maintain a bright red appearance, while others develop deep brown tones depending on how they were stored and handled throughout the years. Another important measurement of the 1964 Lincoln penny is its diameter, which is 19.05 millimeters. This size has remained consistent for American pennies for many decades and allows the coin to fit perfectly into coin holders, vending machines, and collecting albums. The uniform diameter also ensures that every coin produced by the mint maintains the same standard size and shape. For collectors and grading professionals, these precise measurements are important because any unusual variation could indicate a minting error or a rare production mistake that might significantly increase the coin's value. The thickness of the 1964 Lincoln penny is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Although this detail may seem small, thickness plays a critical role in the minting process. Coins are struck using heavy presses that apply tremendous pressure to metal blanks known as planchets. If the thickness of a coin is slightly different from the standard measurement, it could indicate a striking error or a planchet irregularity. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries for collectors because they are often produced accidentally and in very limited numbers. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1964 Lincoln penny is its composition. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This copper-rich mixture gives the coin its classic reddish appearance when it is freshly minted. Over time, copper reacts with the environment and begins to tone, producing colors that range from bright red to reddish brown and sometimes deep chocolate brown. In the coin collecting world, coins that retain their original bright red color are often the most desirable because they indicate that the coin has been well preserved since the day it left the mint. Mint marks also play an important role in understanding the history of the 1964 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at two major minting facilities. Coins produced in Philadelphia do not carry any mint mark, while coins produced in Denver display a small letter D below the date. Both mints produced enormous numbers of pennies in 1964 because the United States was experiencing a coin shortage during that time. However, even with such high production numbers, collectors still search carefully for perfect mint state examples or rare varieties that stand out from the rest. Another interesting detail about the 1964 Lincoln penny is the edge of the coin. Like most 1-cent coins, it features a plain smooth edge rather than ridges. This simple design gives the coin a clean and classic look. Even though the edge may appear ordinary, experienced collectors still examine it carefully because sometimes minting errors can appear along the rim or edge. A slightly off-center strike or a clipped planchet can transform a normal coin into a rare collectible that attracts serious attention in the coin collecting community. The value of a 1964 Lincoln penny depends greatly on its condition and preservation. Coins that have circulated for many years usually show wear, scratches, and dull surfaces, which reduces their collector value. However, coins that remain in uncirculated mint condition with bright luster and sharp details are far more desirable. Professional grading services examine these coins carefully, assigning grades based on their condition. A coin with exceptional quality, strong strike details, and brilliant copper surfaces can become extremely valuable among collectors who are always searching for the finest examples. Stories of rare pennies being discovered in old jars, coin collections, or inherited boxes continue to inspire collectors around the world. The idea that a tiny 1-cent coin could hold significant value makes the search even more exciting. Many collectors spend years examining rolls of pennies or searching through old collections hoping to discover a rare and perfectly preserved coin that others might have overlooked. This sense of discovery is one of the reasons why coin collecting remains such a fascinating hobby for millions of people. If you ever come across a 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Examine the surface, check the mint mark, and notice the color of the copper. A coin that appears ordinary could actually be a rare gem waiting to be recognized. In extraordinary mint condition with exceptional preservation and collector demand, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1964 has been known to reach an incredible value of $230,000. Top 3. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1968 is a small copper coin that carries a big piece of American history. For many people, it may look like just another ordinary penny, but for coin collectors and enthusiasts it can be a fascinating collectible. The Lincoln penny has been part of everyday American life for more than a century, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. By the time the year 1968 arrived, this coin had already become one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Millions of these pennies were used in daily transactions, passing through countless hands, yet some of them survived in remarkable condition and eventually became highly desirable among collectors. The design of the 1968 Lincoln 1-cent penny continues the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln that has defined the coin for decades. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, you can see the detailed profile of President Lincoln facing to the right. The word Liberty appears to the left of his portrait, while the year 1968 is clearly displayed nearby. Above Lincoln's head is the well-known national motto "In God We Trust," which has appeared on many United States coins for generations. The design was created by Victor David Brenner and remains one of the most famous coin portraits ever produced by the United States Mint. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design featuring the Lincoln Memorial. This design was introduced in 1959 and remained in use for many years. At the center of the reverse you can see the Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. Surrounding the image are the words United States of America and 1 cent, along with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum. If you look closely enough, the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside the memorial can even be seen between the columns, an impressive detail considering the small size of the coin. This design connects the coin directly to one of the most important monuments in American history. One of the key specifications of the 1968 Lincoln penny is its weight. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, which was the standard weight for copper pennies produced by the United States Mint during this period. The solid feel of the coin reflects the high copper content used in its production. Collectors often appreciate these older pennies because they were made with a significant amount of copper, giving them a richer appearance compared with many modern coins. This copper content also contributes to the beautiful color changes that develop over time as the metal naturally ages. The diameter of the 1968 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This precise size has remained consistent for United States 1 cent coins for many decades. The uniform diameter ensures that pennies can be easily recognized, stacked, and stored. It also allows collectors to organize them neatly in albums and protective holders designed specifically for American cents. Even a small change in diameter could signal an unusual minting error, which is why experienced collectors always pay attention to these measurements when examining coins. The thickness of the 1968 Lincoln penny is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Although this measurement may seem minor, it plays an important role in the minting process. Coins are struck using powerful presses that imprint the design onto blank metal discs called planchets. If the thickness of the planchet is slightly different from the standard measurement, it could create a unique minting error. These types of variations are rare, and when they occur, collectors often become very interested because such coins can be extremely valuable in the numismatic market. Another interesting detail about the 1968 Lincoln penny is its metal composition. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-rich composition gives the coin its bright reddish color when it is freshly minted. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling causes the surface to tone naturally. Some coins develop a reddish-brown color, while others turn a deeper brown shade. In the coin collecting world, pennies that still retain their original bright red color are usually considered the most desirable, especially if they have never been circulated in everyday use. Mint marks are also very important when identifying the origin of the 1968 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at 2 facilities. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint do not carry a mint mark, while those produced at the Denver Mint feature a small letter D below the date. Collectors often compare coins from different mints because slight differences in strike quality and luster can occur. While millions of pennies were produced in 1968, finding one in perfect mint condition with sharp details and strong luster can still be quite difficult. Another detail that collectors often examine is the edge of the coin. The 1968 Lincoln penny has a plain edge without ridges, giving it a simple and classic appearance. Even though the edge may appear ordinary, it can sometimes reveal unusual minting errors such as clipped planchets or off-center strikes. These types of errors are rare but highly sought after in the coin collecting community. A small mistake during the minting process can turn an everyday coin into a rare collectible that attracts serious attention from collectors and investors. The condition of the coin is one of the most important factors that determines its value. A penny that has circulated for many years will usually show signs of wear, scratches, and discoloration. These coins are common and usually worth only a small amount above their face value. However, a coin that has been carefully preserved since the day it was minted can look almost brand new even after decades. Such coins may display brilliant luster, sharp design details, and a vibrant copper color that collectors find extremely appealing. Because of their historical importance and potential rarity, high-grade Lincoln pennies are often submitted to professional grading services for evaluation. Experts carefully examine the coin's surface, strike quality, and overall eye appeal before assigning a grade. Coins with the highest grades are the most valuable because they represent the finest surviving examples from that year. Collectors around the world compete to own these exceptional pieces, especially when they appear at major coin auctions. So the next time you see a Lincoln penny from 1968, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the mint mark, observe the color of the copper, and check the overall condition of the coin. What appears to be an ordinary 1-cent coin could actually be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1968 has reached an incredible value of $210,000. Top 4. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1975 may appear to be a simple copper coin, but behind its small size lies a fascinating story that continues to capture the attention of coin collectors around the world. For decades, the Lincoln penny has been one of the most recognizable coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, this coin quickly became a symbol of American heritage and tradition. By the year 1975, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating for more than 60 years, passing through the hands of millions of people in everyday transactions. Yet among the billions of pennies produced, a few exceptional examples survive in remarkable condition, turning an ordinary coin into a highly desirable collectible for numismatists and enthusiasts. The design of the 1975 Lincoln penny continues the famous portrait created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the front of the coin, known as the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile faces toward the right side. Above his portrait appears the national motto "In God We Trust," while the word liberty is positioned to the left. The date 1975 is clearly displayed beside the portrait, marking the year this particular coin was minted. This iconic image of Lincoln has remained on the penny for more than a century, making it one of the longest-lasting coin designs in United States history. Its simple yet powerful appearance continues to attract both collectors and historians who admire the legacy of America's 16th president. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design featuring the Lincoln Memorial, a famous monument located in Washington, D.C. This design was introduced in 1959 and remained on the penny for many years. The detailed image of the memorial building stands at the center of the coin, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. Above the memorial you can see the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, which means out of many one. If you look very closely at the columns of the memorial, you may even notice the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside, an impressive detail considering the small size of the coin. One of the most important technical features of the 1975 Lincoln penny is its weight. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, which was the standard weight used for copper pennies during that time. This weight gives the coin a solid feel and reflects the traditional copper composition used by the United States Mint for many decades. Older pennies like this one are particularly interesting for collectors because they contain a high percentage of copper, which gives them a distinctive color and shine that is different from many modern coins. The diameter of the 1975 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This measurement has remained consistent for American 1-cent coins for generations, ensuring uniformity and easy identification. The precise diameter allows pennies to stack properly, fit into coin holders, and operate correctly in vending machines and coin-operated devices. For coin collectors, this exact measurement also helps confirm the authenticity of the coin, as any unusual variation might indicate a rare minting error or unusual production mistake. Another key detail of the 1975 Lincoln penny is its thickness, which is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Although this may seem like a minor specification, thickness plays an important role during the minting process. Coins are produced by striking metal blanks with powerful presses that imprint the design onto the surface. If a blank planchet happens to be slightly thicker or thinner than normal, it can produce unusual striking results. Such minting errors are rare but highly desirable among collectors because they add uniqueness and rarity to the coin. The composition of the 1975 Lincoln penny is another fascinating aspect that collectors often discuss. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-rich mixture gives the coin its warm reddish color when it is newly minted. As time passes, copper naturally reacts with the environment and begins to change color. Some coins turn into a darker brown shade, while others develop a red-brown tone. Coins that have been carefully preserved often maintain their bright red surface, which collectors consider extremely attractive and valuable. Mint marks are also an important part of identifying the origin of a 1975 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at several facilities. Coins minted in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver have a small letter D beneath the date. Another facility, the San Francisco Mint, produced special proof coins marked with the letter S. Each mint produced coins with slightly different characteristics, and collectors often search for high-quality examples from each location to complete their collections. The edge of the 1975 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is typical for 1-cent coins in the United States. While this may seem like a simple feature, collectors still inspect the edge carefully because rare minting errors can sometimes occur there. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and unusual rim shapes can transform a common penny into a rare collectible. These error coins are highly sought after because they represent unique moments during the minting process when something unexpected happened. The overall condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. Many 1975 pennies were used in circulation for years, resulting in worn surfaces and faded details. However, coins that were carefully stored or preserved can remain in almost perfect condition even after decades. Such coins may display brilliant luster, sharp design features, and beautiful copper color. Professional grading services carefully evaluate these coins and assign them grades based on their condition, with the highest graded coins being the most valuable and desirable among collectors. For coin enthusiasts, the excitement of discovering a rare penny never fades. Sometimes valuable coins are found in old collections, coin jars, or even pocket change. The idea that a simple 1-cent coin could be worth a fortune continues to inspire collectors to examine every coin they encounter. The 1975 Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest pieces of everyday currency can carry historical significance and surprising value. If you ever find a 1975 Lincoln penny, take a moment to look at it carefully. Notice the mint mark, observe the color of the copper, and examine the details of the design. What seems like an ordinary coin might actually be a remarkable collectible. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1975 has reached an astonishing value of $175,000. Top 5. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1978 is a small coin that carries a long tradition of American history and coin collecting culture. At first glance it may appear to be just another ordinary penny, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts it can represent an interesting and sometimes valuable piece of American numismatic heritage. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical figure. By 1978, the Lincoln penny had already been circulating for nearly 70 years, becoming one of the most familiar coins in everyday American life. Even though billions of pennies were produced during this period, collectors continue searching for special examples that survived in exceptional condition. The design of the 1978 Lincoln penny continues the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by Victor David Brenner. On the front of the coin, Lincoln's profile faces toward the right side. Above his head appears the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on American coins for many years. The word liberty can be seen to the left side of the portrait, while the date 1978 is clearly struck on the coin. This simple but powerful design has remained one of the most recognized images in the history of United States coinage, symbolizing leadership, freedom, and the legacy of one of America's most respected presidents. The reverse side of the coin displays the well-known Lincoln Memorial design. This design was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and remained on the penny for several decades. At the center of the reverse you can see the Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. Surrounding the image are the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. Above the memorial is the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. If you observe the design closely, you may even notice the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside the memorial between the columns, a remarkable detail considering the coin's small size. One of the important specifications of the 1978 Lincoln penny is its weight. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, which was the standard weight for copper pennies produced before the early 1980s. This weight gives the coin a noticeable solid feel compared with many modern coins. Collectors often appreciate pennies from this era because of their copper content, which not only gives the coin its rich color but also contributes to its lasting durability. Over time, the surface of the coin can develop different shades depending on how it was stored or used. The diameter of the 1978 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This precise diameter has been the standard measurement for United States 1 cent coins for generations. The consistent size allows the coin to be easily recognized, stacked, and stored in coin albums or holders designed specifically for pennies. For collectors and experts, maintaining these precise dimensions is important because any unusual variation might indicate a minting error or a rare production anomaly that could significantly increase the coin's value. Another technical detail of the 1978 Lincoln penny is its thickness, which is approximately 1.52 millimeters. While this may seem like a very small measurement, it plays a crucial role in the minting process. Coins are produced by striking metal blanks known as planchets with heavy presses that imprint the coin's design. If a planchet happens to be slightly thicker or thinner than normal, it can result in unusual striking characteristics. Such minting errors are rare, and when they are discovered they often attract the attention of collectors who specialize in unusual coin varieties. The composition of the 1978 Lincoln penny is another interesting feature that collectors often discuss. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-rich composition gives the penny its bright reddish appearance when it is freshly minted. As years pass, the copper reacts naturally with the environment, causing the coin to develop different tones. Some pennies maintain their bright red surfaces if they are carefully preserved, while others gradually change to reddish-brown or darker brown shades. In the world of coin collecting, coins that still display their original red color are often considered the most desirable. Mint marks are also important when identifying where a 1978 Lincoln penny was produced. During that year, the United States Mint struck pennies at several facilities. Coins minted in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver carry a small letter D beneath the date. In addition, special proof coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint and carry the letter S. Collectors often try to obtain examples from each mint, especially those that are in high-grade condition with strong details and attractive luster. The edge of the 1978 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is typical for 1-cent coins in the United States. Although this may seem like a simple design feature, experienced collectors still examine the edges carefully because unusual minting errors can sometimes appear there. A clipped edge, an off-center strike, or an irregular rim can transform a common penny into a rare collectible piece that stands out from ordinary coins. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the value of a coin. Many 1978 pennies circulated for years in everyday commerce and now show signs of wear, scratches, and faded details. However, some coins were saved immediately after minting and remained protected for decades. These well-preserved examples can display bright copper luster and sharp design features that collectors find extremely appealing. Professional coin grading services evaluate these coins carefully and assign grades based on their preservation and overall eye appeal. For collectors, the excitement of coin collecting often comes from the possibility of discovering a rare and valuable coin in the most unexpected places. Many valuable coins have been found in old coin jars, family collections, or even in pocket change. This is what makes the hobby so fascinating and rewarding for enthusiasts around the world. The 1978 Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest coin can hold a surprising story and a hidden value waiting to be discovered. If you ever come across a 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the mint mark, observe the color of the copper, and pay attention to the overall condition of the coin. What seems like an ordinary penny might actually be a rare collectible piece. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1978 can reach an incredible value of $160,000. Top 6. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1978D is a small copper coin that many people may have seen in their everyday pocket change, yet it carries an interesting story that attracts coin collectors around the world. The Lincoln penny is one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. This historic decision made the Lincoln cent the first regular United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person. By the time the year 1978 arrived, the Lincoln penny had already been circulating for nearly 70 years, becoming a familiar symbol of American currency and history. The front side of the 1978 Lincoln penny displays the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner and has remained one of the most recognized images in American coinage. Lincoln's profile faces toward the right side of the coin, and above his head appears the national motto "In God We Trust." The word Liberty is placed to the left side of the portrait, while the date 1978 appears clearly beside Lincoln. Just below the date you can see a small letter D, which indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. This tiny mint mark plays an important role for collectors because it identifies the exact location where the coin was struck. The reverse side of the coin features the famous Lincoln Memorial design. This design was introduced in 1959 and remained on the penny for many years. At the center of the reverse you can see the detailed structure of the Lincoln Memorial located in Washington, D.C. Surrounding the building are the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. Above the memorial appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. If you look closely between the columns of the memorial, you can even see the small statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside, which is an impressive detail considering the small size of the coin. The 1978 Lincoln penny follows the traditional specifications used by the United States Mint for copper pennies during that era. The coin has a weight of approximately 3.11 grams. This weight was standard for pennies made before the metal composition changed in the early 1980s. Because of its copper content, the coin feels solid and durable when held in the hand. Many collectors enjoy coins from this period because they contain a large percentage of copper, giving them a warm metallic color and a classic appearance. The diameter of the 1978 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This measurement has been the standard diameter for United States 1 cent coins for generations. Maintaining this consistent size ensures that pennies can easily be stacked, stored, and used in machines that accept coins. For coin collectors, the exact diameter also helps confirm the authenticity of the coin. Any unusual variation in size could indicate a minting error, which sometimes makes a coin even more valuable. Another important specification is the thickness of the coin. The 1978 Lincoln penny has a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. While this measurement might seem small, it is an important factor in the minting process. Coins are created by striking metal blanks called planchets with powerful presses that stamp the design onto the surface. If the thickness of the planchet is slightly different from normal, it can result in unusual minting characteristics. Such variations can create rare error coins that collectors find extremely interesting. The composition of the 1978 Lincoln penny is 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-rich mixture gives the coin its bright reddish appearance when it is newly minted. Over time, exposure to air and environmental conditions can cause the surface of the coin to change color. Some coins develop a reddish-brown tone, while others turn a darker brown shade. In the coin collecting community, pennies that still maintain their original red color are usually considered the most desirable, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. The mint mark D on the 1978 penny indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint in Colorado. During the 1970s, the Denver Mint produced a large number of pennies to meet the demands of circulation across the United States. Even though millions of coins were struck, collectors still search for examples that have exceptional quality. Coins with strong strike details, bright luster, and minimal marks are considered much more valuable than heavily circulated pieces. Another interesting feature of the 1978 Lincoln penny is its plain smooth edge. Unlike some other coins that have ridged edges, the penny has a simple edge design. Although it looks basic, collectors still inspect the edge carefully because sometimes minting errors appear there. A clipped planchet, an off-center strike, or an irregular rim can transform an ordinary penny into a rare and valuable collectible piece. The condition of a coin plays a very important role in determining its value. Many 1978 pennies circulated for years and now show signs of wear, such as scratches and faded details. However, some coins were saved soon after they were minted and remained protected for decades. These well-preserved coins can still display bright copper luster and sharp design features. Professional coin grading companies carefully examine these coins and assign grades that reflect their overall quality and preservation. For collectors, the excitement of coin collecting often comes from the possibility of discovering a rare coin hidden among ordinary change. Many valuable coins have been found in old jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections. The idea that a tiny 1-cent coin could hold significant value makes the search even more thrilling. The 1978 Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest coin can carry history and potential value. If you ever find a 1978 Lincoln penny, it is worth taking a moment to study it carefully. Look at the mint mark, observe the color of the copper, and examine the condition of the coin. What seems like a simple penny could actually be a remarkable collectible. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1978 has reached an amazing value of $170,000. Top 7. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1981 is a small coin that many people have seen countless times in everyday transactions, yet it carries a fascinating story that continues to attract coin collectors and history enthusiasts. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins ever produced by the United States Mint. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first regular circulating American coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Over the decades, this simple copper coin has become a symbol of American heritage, passing through millions of hands while quietly preserving a piece of history. By the time the year 1981 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been part of American life for more than 70 years. The front of the 1981 Lincoln penny shows the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces toward the right side of the coin, a design that has remained largely unchanged for generations. Above his head you can read the national motto "In God We Trust," which has appeared on American coins for many years. The word liberty is placed to the left side of Lincoln's portrait, while the year 1981 is clearly struck beside him. This design is simple yet powerful, representing one of the most respected leaders in American history and making the Lincoln cent instantly recognizable around the world. On the reverse side of the 1981 Lincoln penny you will find the famous Lincoln Memorial design. This reverse design was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. At the center of the coin stands the Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. The inscriptions "United States of America" and 1 cent surround the memorial, while the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum" appears above the building. If you observe the memorial closely, you can even see the tiny seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the structure, an impressive level of detail considering the coin's small size. One of the important specifications of the 1981 Lincoln penny is its weight. Most 1981 pennies were produced with a weight of approximately 3.11 grams. This weight was standard for copper-based pennies before the composition changed in the early 1980s. Because of the high copper content, these coins feel solid and substantial when held in the hand. Many collectors appreciate coins from this era because they represent the final years of the traditional copper penny before newer materials were introduced. The diameter of the 1981 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This precise measurement has remained consistent for United States 1-cent coins for many decades. The uniform diameter allows pennies to be easily recognized and stacked, and it ensures that they fit properly into vending machines, coin rolls, and collectors' albums. For coin experts, the exact diameter also helps confirm that the coin was produced according to official mint standards. Another technical detail is the thickness of the coin, which is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Although this number may seem small, it plays a very important role during the minting process. Coins are struck from metal blanks known as planchets using powerful presses that imprint the design into the metal. If a planchet happens to be slightly thicker or thinner than the standard measurement, unusual striking results can occur. These variations sometimes produce rare minting errors, which are highly sought after by collectors. The composition of the 1981 Lincoln penny is mainly 95% copper with 5% zinc. This copper-rich composition gives the coin its bright reddish appearance when it is freshly minted. Over time, exposure to air and moisture causes the copper surface to change color. Some coins develop a red-brown shade, while others turn a darker brown tone. In the world of coin collecting, pennies that still retain their original bright red color are often considered the most desirable, especially if they have been preserved in uncirculated condition. Mint marks are another interesting detail of the 1981 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at several facilities. Coins struck in Philadelphia usually do not have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver carry a small letter D below the date. In addition, proof coins were made at the San Francisco Mint and display the letter S. Each mint produced coins with slightly different characteristics, and collectors often search for the finest examples from each mint to add to their collections. The edge of the 1981 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is typical for United States 1-cent coins. Although this edge design may seem simple, collectors still inspect it carefully because rare minting errors can sometimes appear along the rim. A clipped edge, an off-center strike, or an unusual rim shape can transform an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable collectible. Condition plays one of the most important roles in determining the value of a coin. Many 1981 pennies circulated in everyday use for years and now show signs of wear such as scratches, dull surfaces, and faded details. However, coins that were saved early and kept in protective holders can remain in excellent condition even after decades. These coins may display bright luster, sharp design features, and beautiful copper color, making them highly attractive to collectors. Coin collecting often brings excitement because valuable coins can sometimes be discovered in the most unexpected places. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coin jars, rolls of pennies, or inherited collections hoping to find a rare piece. The 1981 Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest coin can hold surprising value and historical importance. So if you ever come across a 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, take a closer look before spending it. Examine the mint mark, observe the copper color, and check the condition of the coin carefully. What may appear to be an ordinary penny could actually be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1981 can reach an incredible value of $145,000. Top 8. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1982 is one of the most interesting coins in the long history of the Lincoln cent series. At first glance it may appear to be an ordinary penny that many people have used in everyday transactions, but for collectors this particular year holds special importance. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American currency since 1909, when it was introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Over the decades, this small coin has become one of the most recognized symbols of American money, and the 1982 penny marks a very important moment in the evolution of the coin. The front side of the 1982 Lincoln penny displays the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner and shows Lincoln facing toward the right side of the coin. Above his head appears the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on many American coins for generations. The word liberty can be seen to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the date 1982 is clearly struck beside him. The design is simple yet powerful, and it has remained one of the most recognizable images in the history of United States coinage. On the reverse side of the coin you will see the Lincoln Memorial, one of the most famous monuments in Washington, D.C. This design was first introduced in 1959 and continued to appear on the penny for several decades. At the center of the reverse stands the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial Building. Surrounding it are the inscriptions "United States of America" and 1 cent. Above the memorial is the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many one." If you look carefully between the columns of the memorial, you may even notice the small statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside, which is an amazing detail for such a tiny coin. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1982 Lincoln penny is its weight. During this year the United States Mint made an important change in the composition of the penny. Earlier pennies weighed about 3.11 grams because they were made primarily of copper. However, later in 1982 the Mint introduced a new composition that reduced the weight to approximately 2.5 grams. This change happened because the cost of copper was rising, and the government needed a more economical way to produce pennies. As a result, collectors today often weigh 1982 pennies carefully because both heavier copper coins and lighter zinc coins exist from the same year. The diameter of the 1982 Lincoln penny is 19.05 millimeters. This measurement remained consistent even after the composition of the coin changed. Maintaining the same diameter ensured that the coin would continue to function properly in machines and coin counting systems. For collectors, the consistent size also makes it easier to store pennies in albums and protective holders designed specifically for the Lincoln Cent series. Another technical specification of the 1982 penny is its thickness, which is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Even though the metal composition changed during the year, the thickness of the coin remained very similar. This allowed the Mint to maintain the same overall appearance and feel of the penny while switching to a less expensive material. The careful balance of weight, thickness, and diameter demonstrates the precision involved in the coin minting process. The composition of the 1982 Lincoln penny is particularly important because it represents a major transition in American coinage. Earlier pennies from that year were made of 95% copper with a small amount of zinc, while later pennies were produced using a core of zinc covered with a thin layer of copper. This change created two distinct types of 1982 pennies that collectors often try to identify and categorize. Because of this unique situation, the 1982 penny has become one of the most studied coins in the Lincoln Cent series. Mint marks are another important detail to consider when examining a 1982 Lincoln penny. During that year, pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from Philadelphia typically do not carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver feature a small letter D below the date. Because of the different compositions and mint marks used in 1982, collectors often search for specific combinations that are more difficult to find. These variations make the year especially exciting for people who enjoy studying coins closely. The edge of the 1982 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is standard for 1-cent coins in the United States. Even though the edge design is simple, collectors still examine it carefully for unusual features or minting errors. Sometimes coins are struck slightly off-center or produced from imperfect planchets, creating rare varieties that are highly valued in the numismatic community. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the value of any coin. Many 1982 pennies circulated heavily and now show wear, scratches, and faded details. However, coins that were carefully preserved can remain in excellent condition with bright luster and sharp design features. These high-grade coins are much more desirable among collectors and can command impressive prices when offered at auctions or private sales. the excitement of coin collecting often comes from the possibility that a small and ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be a rare treasure. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coin jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections hoping to discover something valuable. The 1982 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a simple 1-cent coin can hold a fascinating story and unexpected worth. If you ever come across a 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the color of the metal, and if possible weigh the coin to see whether it is the heavier copper version or the lighter zinc version. What appears to be an ordinary coin might actually be a special variety. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1982 can reach an incredible value of $140,000. Top 9. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1983 is a small coin that many people might overlook, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts it represents an interesting chapter in American coin history. The Lincoln penny has been part of United States currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin became the first regular circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Over the decades the Lincoln cent has remained one of the most widely recognized coins in the world. By the time the year 1983 arrived, the penny had already been circulating for more than 70 years, continuing its long tradition as a symbol of American heritage and everyday commerce. The obverse of the 1983 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This famous design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and shows Lincoln facing to the right. Above his head appears the national motto "In God We Trust," which has been a traditional inscription on United States coins for many years. The word liberty is positioned to the left side of the portrait, while the year 1983 is clearly displayed beside Lincoln. This classic design has remained on the penny for generations and continues to be one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design that features the Lincoln Memorial. This design was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and remained on the penny for several decades. At the center of the reverse you can see the detailed structure of the Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. Surrounding the image are the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. Above the memorial appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. If you look very closely between the columns of the memorial, you may even notice the small statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside, a remarkable detail considering the coin's tiny size. One of the most important specifications of the 1983 Lincoln penny is its weight. Unlike older pennies that were made primarily of copper, the 1983 penny was produced using a newer and lighter composition. The coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams, which is noticeably lighter than the earlier copper cents. This change was made because the rising cost of copper made it too expensive to continue producing pennies with the traditional metal mixture. As a result, the United States Mint introduced a new design using a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. The diameter of the 1983 Lincoln penny measures 19.05 millimeters. This measurement remained the same even after the composition of the coin was changed. Keeping the same diameter ensured that the penny would continue to function properly in vending machines and other coin-operated devices. The consistent size also helps collectors organize their coins in albums and holders designed specifically for the Lincoln Cent series. Another important detail of the 1983 penny is its thickness, which is approximately 1.52 millimeters. Even though the metal composition changed from copper to zinc with a copper coating, the thickness remained nearly identical to earlier pennies. This careful adjustment allowed the coin to maintain the same appearance and feel while reducing the cost of production for the United States Mint. The composition of the 1983 Lincoln penny is primarily zinc, with a thin outer layer of copper that gives the coin its familiar reddish color. Specifically, the coin is made from about 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This combination allows the coin to look similar to older pennies while using much less copper. Because of this structure, if the outer copper layer becomes damaged, the silver-colored zinc core may sometimes be visible underneath. Mint marks are another important feature of the 1983 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at two main facilities. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint typically do not carry a mint mark, while those produced at the Denver Mint feature a small letter D below the date. Collectors often compare coins from different mints to see which ones have better strike quality or stronger details. Some collectors also search for unusual varieties or minting errors that occasionally appear in certain batches of coins. The edge of the 1983 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is standard for 1-cent coins in the United States. Although it may seem like a simple detail, collectors often inspect the edge carefully because rare minting errors can sometimes appear along the rim. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual features can transform a common coin into a rare collectible piece that attracts attention in the numismatic community. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the value of a coin. Many 1983 pennies circulated widely and now show signs of wear such as scratches, dull surfaces, and faded details. However, coins that were saved early and protected from circulation can remain in remarkable condition. These coins may still display bright luster and sharp design details, making them much more appealing to collectors who search for high-quality examples. For many coin collectors, the excitement of the hobby comes from the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin might actually be rare or valuable. Valuable coins have been discovered in pocket change, old jars, and inherited collections. The 1983 Lincoln penny reminds us that even a small 1-cent coin can hold historical significance and potential value for those who take the time to examine it carefully. If you ever come across a 1983 Lincoln 1-cent penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Check the mint mark, observe the color and condition of the coin, and look carefully at the details of the design. What appears to be a simple penny could actually be a collectible treasure. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1983 can reach an impressive value of $135,000. Top 10. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1985 is a small coin that many people might ignore in everyday change, but for collectors it can represent an interesting piece of modern American coin history. The Lincoln penny has been part of the United States currency system since 1909 when it was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. It was also the first circulating American coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent became one of the most recognized coins in the world. By the time 1985 arrived, this penny had already been circulating for more than 75 years, continuing to represent American tradition, history, and everyday commerce. The front side of the 1985 Lincoln penny features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This iconic image was designed by Victor David Brenner and shows Lincoln facing toward the right side of the coin. Above the portrait appears the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on United States coins for many generations. The word liberty is positioned to the left side of Lincoln's portrait, while the year 1985 is clearly struck beside him. This simple but powerful design has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage and continues to symbolize the leadership and legacy of Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse side of the coin you will find the famous Lincoln Memorial design. This design was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. At the center of the reverse stands the Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. Surrounding the image are the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent, clearly identifying the nation and the coin's denomination. Above the memorial is the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, which means out of many one. If you examine the memorial carefully, you may even notice the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside the building, which is a remarkable detail considering the small size of the penny. One of the key technical details of the 1985 Lincoln penny is its weight. By this time the United States Mint had already changed the composition of the penny from the traditional copper mixture to a zinc-based structure. Because of this change, the 1985 penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams. This is lighter than earlier copper pennies that weighed around 3.11 grams. The new design helped reduce production costs while still allowing the coin to maintain its familiar appearance. The diameter of the 1985 Lincoln penny is 19.05 millimeters. This measurement has remained consistent for American 1 cent coins for many decades. Maintaining the same diameter ensured that the penny would continue to function properly in vending machines, coin counters, and other coin-operated systems. The consistent size also allows collectors to easily store and organize their pennies in albums or protective holders designed specifically for the Lincoln Cent series. Another important specification is the thickness of the coin. The 1985 Lincoln penny has an approximate thickness of 1.52 millimeters. Even though the internal composition changed to zinc with copper plating, the mint carefully maintained the same thickness as earlier pennies. This helped preserve the traditional appearance and feel of the coin while making production more economical. The composition of the 1985 Lincoln penny is primarily zinc with a thin outer layer of copper. Specifically, the coin is made from about 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This copper coating gives the coin its familiar reddish color so that it still looks similar to older copper pennies. However, if the surface becomes damaged or scratched, the silver-colored zinc metal underneath may sometimes become visible. Mint marks are another interesting feature of the 1985 Lincoln penny. During that year, the United States Mint produced pennies at two major facilities. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint typically do not have a mint mark, while coins produced at the Denver Mint display a small letter D below the date. Each mint produced large numbers of pennies to meet the demand for circulating currency across the country. Collectors often compare coins from different mints to see which ones have sharper details or better overall quality. The edge of the 1985 Lincoln penny is plain and smooth, which is the traditional design used for United States 1-cent coins. Even though the edge looks simple, collectors sometimes inspect it carefully for unusual minting errors. Rare errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual rim shapes can turn a common penny into a valuable collectible. These types of minting mistakes are uncommon, but when they occur they often attract the attention of serious collectors. Condition plays a very important role in determining the value of any coin. Many 1985 pennies were used in circulation for years and now show signs of wear such as scratches, dull surfaces, and faded details. However, coins that were saved immediately after minting and stored carefully can remain in excellent condition even after decades. These well-preserved coins may still show bright luster and sharp design features, making them highly desirable among collectors. The hobby of coin collecting is exciting because valuable coins can sometimes be discovered in the most unexpected places. People have found rare coins in pocket change, old jars, or family collections that were stored away for many years. The 1985 Lincoln penny reminds us that even a small and ordinary-looking coin can carry history and potential value for those who take the time to examine it closely. If you ever come across a 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the condition of the coin, and observe the color and shine of the copper surface. What seems like a simple penny might actually be a collectible treasure. In extremely rare and perfectly preserved condition, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny 1985 can reach an impressive value of $125,000.